You hear at first a slow thud under the waves like a giant drum. Lights bloom in the dark sea, blue and green like eyes opening in the deep. A whisper moves with the wind. Every secret wants to be found. And one girl in Seabrook knows this better than anyone. The camera drifts over a calm shoreline at night. No faces, only shapes, the curve of the moon, the edge of the pier, the soft pull of the tide. A gull cries and then goes silent as if warned. The water glows for a second and then fades like a breath held too long. A low drum starts in the distance, slow and steady, the kind that settles into your chest and will not leave. We slide. Past the empty lifeguard chair, past beach flags that hang without wind, past a row of lanterns that flicker even though there is no storm. The town sleeps, but the sea is awake. A narrator's voice, cool and close, cuts the night. Every secret has a cost. The words seem to move the tide, and the tide answers with a quiet hiss. A silver pendant spins on a chain in a dark room. It throws tiny sparks over the walls as if the stars have slipped in to hide. Addison's hand stops it. We never see her face, only the glow of the pendant on her wrist, the tremble in her fingers, the slow breath she takes to keep calm. The glow starts weak, then brightens on its own as if it hears a faraway call. She presses her palm over it like someone trying to hide a match in a storm. Outside, the ocean beats again, thud, thud, and the pendant flashes back in time with the sound. She whispers, barely a breath, "Not now." The glow dims, but it does not die. Cut to the high school field. Empty bleachers. A scoreboard that hums even when off. A banner for the Seabrook Zoms hangs crooked, tugged by air that shouldn't be there. Zed's letter jacket rests on the rail. A phone buzzes under it, lighting up with a message we only half see. "Are you okay?" The screen goes dark, another buzz. Another. The beach lights are back. The phone keeps lighting up, but no hand reaches for it. The camera holds on the lonely jacket a beat too long, asking a silent question. Where is the hero when the tide turns? Back to the beach? The bioluminescent glow crawls along the shore like ink in water. It wraps around a shell, it paints a broken piece of driftwood, it climbs the pier posts and then retreats, shy and bold at the same time. The drum grows. Not just a sound now, more like a pulse in the ground. Sand rattles in a bottle. A nail shivers in a plank. Somewhere below, something very old is waking up, and it remembers a promise it never forgot. The narrator returns quieter. Some doors do not open with keys, they open with hunger. The glow flares, and for a heartbeat we see the outline of a fin deep under the surface. It moves with grace and power and then vanishes, leaving the night to guess if it was real. Inside Addison's room, a map is pinned with threads river to river, inlet to inlet, little notes in soft pencil, unusual current, song at dusk, lights after new moon. She pulls one thread loose and a small shell falls to the floor. When it hits, the pendant flashes again, brighter than before, as if joy has found it. Addison steps back. We glimpse trophies, spirit gear, old photos, life on land, loud and proud, but the room feels like a cave now, and caves are for secrets. Her phone lights up the wall with Zed's name, but the call goes to voicemail. She does not move to answer. She listens. The sea is calling her in a language that is not words. She understands anyway. A power line buzzes above the beach road. Street lamps blink down the hill, one after the other, like a countdown. A stoplight shifts from green to yellow to red, then back to green without traffic. A shop sign spins even as the air stays still. The town is out of rhythm, as if the ocean beat has taken over the clock. The narrator breathes the truth we don't want to hear. When the tide chooses, it does not ask. Waves roll in higher and leave patterns on the sand like strange letters. The camera glides low over them, and for a moment the white lines look like a message. Then the water wipes it away. Addison steps onto the porch, the pendant now a steady lantern against her heart. We still do not see her face. We only see the way the light leaks through her fingers and paints the boards. At her feet, the wind moves at last. It carries a tone, almost a melody, the kind you hum without knowing why. She closes her eyes and the world narrows to sound and pull. The drum matches her heartbeat. The shore answers. The night is a living thing that waits. She takes one step, then another, down toward the path that leads to the pier dot at the edge of the water. The glow gathers, thicker, denser, alive. It swirls like a galaxy, then breaks apart and runs up the beach to meet her shoes. It stops there like a line she is not sure she should cross. The drum stops. Silence falls so hard it has weight. A whisper rises from the deep, not cruel, not kind, only certain. Come, Addison swallows. The pendant flares and the ocean flares back, as if two beacons have finally found each other in the dark. For the first time, the camera steals a hint of reflection in the water, a crown shape of light above where a face should be. Not human, not alien, something between. The narrator's last line in this opening lands like a promise. Every secret wants to be found. Tonight one will be. The wave touches her toes. Cut to black, the drum returns, one final thud. Then nothing. Asterisk, the storm does not start with rain. It starts with a deep breath. The whole bay seems to take at once. Boats tilt, ropes groan. Flags point toward the sea as if a hand is pulling them. The pier lamps buzz and dim, then flare like eyes waking up. Foam gathers at the pilings and clings there, glowing a soft blue that should not be there. The camera stays faceless, close to details, a nail shivering in wet wood, a life ring turning on its hook, a drop of water climbing up a rope instead of down. The wind arrives in a low roll, hugging the water, pressing waves into long ridges that look like the backs of sleeping beasts. Somewhere below, something gives a single, heavy knock against the pier. A sound runs up the posts, through the planks, into the town's bones. A thin line of light opens along the horizon, but it is not dawn. It is the ocean's skin drawing a breath of its own. The light bends, splits, and slides toward shore in three swirls, like comets under glass. When they reach the shallows, the swirls slow and rise, sending rings across the surface that glow and fade like slow heartbeats. The camera floats just above the water, catching shapes only when the sea wants to show them. The tip of a fin cutting the moon, a curve of scale that throws tiny sparks, a long braid of something like hair that moves with purpose, not drift. Then silence, no wind, no gull. Even the waves hold still, as if told to listen. A voice from below the surface speaks without breaking it. It is clear, but softened by water, each word rolling like a tide. We return with the tide we gave you. The words are not angry. They are not kind. They are certain, and they belong to more than one mouth. The blue light deepens to green. Sand lifts in a slow storm around ankles we cannot see. Hands, web-thin like the edges of leaves, press against the water from the inside, leaving ripples that do not fade. One by one, the shapes rise while staying unseen, a shoulder that gleams like wet pearl, a crest that unfurls like a crown. Made of bone and shell, eyes that open like lanterns and then dim before we can stare. Lightning crawls through a low cloud bank but does not strike. The echo lights the town for a blink, and in that blink we catch their outlines at last, three figures in a half circle, waist deep in the water, heads lifted toward the pier. No faces, only the glow-tracing edges, the strong line of a jaw, the sharp tilt of a fin along the arm, the curve of a tail flexing and then still. They do not splash, they do not shake. The sea holds them like it knows their true names. The middle figure raises a hand and the water lifts with it, forming a thin wall that holds tiny fish like stars stuck in glass. She drags her finger across. That wall and a line of light follows, sketching a map we do not know, coves, trenches, a spiral that points toward Seabrook's shore. When she stops, the wall falls back without a sound. On the beach, porch lights wake in a chain. Doors crack open, then close again as if the night itself gives a warning. A werewolf shadow pauses on a ridge, ears tilted forward, then slips away. A zombie on a delivery bike coasts to a stop, sensors flickering, hands shaking over the brakes. He looks toward the water and then rides the other way without pedaling, like gravity has changed its mind. The mermaids do not follow. They are not here to chase. They are here to call. The lead figure tilts her head, listening to a beat deeper than drums. Her crest glows brighter at the tips, then dims to a steady ring. She speaks again, the water shaping each word. Land is taken and taken, the debt comes due. The pier answers with old memory. In a sudden flash of images, no faces, only hands, tools, maps, we see work crews driving posts into a young shore. Dredgers scraping a channel, pipes laid like veins through sand. A flood of bright paint spreads across. A model of the bay, cutting off a path we do not understand. Then the images are gone like a dream. The mermaids hold still. The camera edges closer, catching their calm power in small pieces, the micro scales at the joint of a wrist, the pulse in a throat where human would be, the soft drift of ribbon fins that keep perfect balance with no effort at all. They look built for war and song at the same time. The lead figure turns slightly, and the pendant on Addison's chest flares far up the hill in reply, though we do not cut to her yet. That flare draws a thin line of light between shore and sea, a bridge so fine it is almost a thread. The mermaids feel it, all three, like a tug at the core. The one on the left lowers her head as if in respect or grief. The one on the right bares a row of small, sharp teeth for a breath, then closes her lips, smoothing the sea again. The voice comes with weight now. Child of shore and surge, the ocean knows you. The wind returns in a short burst, throwing spray across the pier in tiny needles that pierce, then cool. A bell far out on a buoy gives one slow ring and then stops. A wave rises without breaking and sets itself at their backs like a throne. Inside its curve, we glimpse stories carved by current. A city lost under silt, a school of silver fish twisting. Into letters, a door of rock that opens to a hallway of dark. The middle figure taps the wave once, and from the deep there is an answering thud, the same one that has haunted the town for nights. Old, patient, close. She lifts her chin toward the lights of Seabrook, not a threat. A vow, we will be seen, the water says through her, we will be heard. The three sink in perfect time, leaving only the spiral of glow they drew before. The spiral tightens, then shoots forward as a line that disappears under the pier and into the river mouth that runs past the school. Rain finally arrives, soft and straight, like the sky is afraid to touch the new rules. Each drop that hits the bay lights for a blink, turning the surface into a field of stars. The camera glides above those lights and finds the empty lifeguard chair again. On its seat, a wet shell turns on its own and points inland as if the ocean just gave it orders. Far off, the stadium speakers crackle open by themselves, and a low tone rolls across the field like a warning horn from a ship at night. Windows light up, then dim, then light again. Matching a pulse we now know is not the town's. The tide reaches higher than it should and holds there. Waiting, like a messenger at a door it is not allowed to open without an answer. The storm keeps its hands gentle, but the meaning is hard. The mermaids have arrived without stepping on land, and somehow the town already feels smaller, like it has shrunk to fit a truth it once denied. The water settles, but the quiet is only the kind that comes before a choice. In that quiet, a last ripple finds the shore and curls around a set of footprints that lead away from the pier. The prints glow for a moment, then go dark as if covered by a promise. The bay exhales, the rain thins to mist. The lights along the quay return to normal. But the sea does not forget, and neither will Seabrook, because tonight the ocean spoke, and it used a voice that will not be ignored. The night does not return to peace. Even when the storm slows, even when the rain turns soft, Seabrook does not feel safe. The ocean has spoken, and the weight of its words sits heavy in Addison's chest. She stands in her room, fingers clutching the glowing pendant that refuses to be silent. Its light runs through her hand like veins of fire, spilling over her walls, painting shadows of fins, crowns, and waves. She tries to pull it off, tugging at the chain until her skin burns, but the pendant holds as if it has grown into her. Her breath comes sharp. Her reflection in the window does not match her. The eyes staring back glow faintly blue, not human. Not zombie, not werewolf, something new, something claimed by the sea. Her phone buzzes again. This time Zed's voice breaks through. We hear it faintly on voicemail, desperate, raw. Addison, I know you feel it, but you don't have to face it alone. Please, don't shut me out. She closes her eyes, tears brimming, but she doesn't press play again. Instead, she drops the phone to the bed. The glow in her chest pulses faster, entering a rhythm. Only she can hear. Outside, the tide climbs higher. It knocks against the seawall like a fist asking to be let in. The scene cuts to Zed. He's at the field house, pacing, jacket dripping rain. His fists are clenched, not in anger at Addison, but at the silence between them. Around him, teammates, zombies, werewolves, even a vampire or two exchange worried glances. The lights above flicker, matching the same pulse Addison feels. Zed slams a hand against a locker, frustrated. She's hiding something big, and if it's what I think. The whole town is in danger. His voice cracks at the end, the fear beneath his bravado spilling through. He doesn't want to fight Addison. But he knows a fight is coming. The locker room trembles as if the stadium itself is listening. A crack runs through the tile floor, water seeping up where no pipe should reach. The werewolves growl low, ears twitching toward the sound. One mutters, "They're already here." Zed straightens, jaw tight. "Then we can't wait." He storms out into the rain, determination burning in his eyes, even as doubt claws at him. Cut back to Addison. She walks the pier alone, the pendant now a beacon. Waves rise higher with every step, slapping against the posts, leaving streaks of glowing residue on the wood. She whispers as if to herself but also to the sea, "Why me? Why now?" The water answers with a voice only she hears, "Because you were born of both worlds." Her breath catches. Her memories flicker times when she felt out of place. When her cheer spirit went beyond human, when her voice carried more than sound. All the questions she buried now bloom into one undeniable truth. She is part of them. Zed reaches the beach at the same time. He sees her standing at the piers, edge, pendant blazing like a star. His voice cuts the storm. "Addison!" She spins, guilt flashing in her stance, though her face stays unseen. The camera shows only her outline, haloed in light, the storm bending around her. He runs toward her, but the tide surges, crashing up to block his path, as if protecting her. He staggers back, soaked. "You knew," he shouts over the roar, "and you didn't tell me." Her reply is soft but carries, lifted by the sea itself. "I didn't want it to be true." The water rises higher, swirling around her feet. Zed's fists clench at his sides. The fear in him twists to anger, but it is not anger at her. It is anger at losing her. "They're using you, Addison. Whatever this is, they've chosen. You to tear us apart?" He pounds his chest, desperate. "You belong here with me, with us." The pendant blazes, brighter than ever, and the storm howls in agreement with neither of them. Addison's voice shakes. "What if I belong to both? What if I'm the bridge, not the wall?" For a moment, silence. Then the ocean answers with a massive wave that crashes against the pier, sending shards of water high into the air. The spray hangs suspended longer than it should, glowing symbols flickering in its shape before vanishing. Both of them stare, breathless. Zed takes a step forward, determination etched in every line of his body. "Then prove it. Prove you're still with us. Fight for Seabrook." His words strike like lightning, but beneath them lies the plea of someone terrified to lose the person he loves. Addison looks down at the glowing water swirling around her ankles, then up at the storm above. Her heart is split, her secret revealed. Her choice looming, the section closes with a haunting shot. Zed on the beach, drenched and shaking, Addison glowing on the pier, and the sea between them alive, pulsing like a living wall. The narrator's voice drifts through the storm. Every secret divides. Every truth demands a side. The camera pulls back, leaving them small against the furious ocean. Two hearts caught between love and destiny. The ocean does not wait. It rises without permission, waves lifting like walls that swallow the horizon. Seabrook is no longer a quiet town by the water. It is stage, and the tide has chosen its story. From the depths, the mermaids emerge in full, their silhouettes carved in light and shadow. Their tails flash like blades, their crowns shimmer like living coral. Their eyes burn with a glow that feels both ancient and new. They do not shout. They sing a low, rolling chord that bends trees and rattles glass. The ground itself hums in reply. On the beach, the town gathers in fear and defiance. Zombies tighten their ranks, werewolves bare their teeth, even vampires hiss with sparks at their lips. Zed stands at the front, rain streaming down his face, fists clenched. His voice rips through the chaos. Seabrook stands together. The crowd answers, a chorus of growls, shouts, and roars. But the ocean's song drowns them all. Addison steps forward from the pier, her pendant blazing so bright it casts a halo across the storm. She is not hidden anymore. The mermaids bow their heads slightly, acknowledging her, calling her their own. The choice sits heavy in the air, one step to the sea, one step back to land. Both sides wait for her to decide. Zed's voice cuts through, raw. Addison, fight with me. The lead mermaid answers, her voice a wave. No, fight for us. The storm explodes. Water spirals upward into massive columns, twisting into the shapes of serpents that strike at the shore. Zombies leap to defend, werewolves claw through walls of spray, vampires cut arcs of lightning with their speed. Zed charges into the fray, colliding with a wave creature that bursts into shards of light. He roars, not as a monster, but as a leader. The camera swings to Addison. She clutches her pendant, torn in two. Her light surges outward, clashing with the ocean glow, creating sparks that rain across the battlefield. In the chaos, her whispered words reach us. If I'm both, then I'll be more than either. The screen cuts to black. A single beat of silence. Then a final haunting image. Addison suspended underwater, eyes glowing brighter than ever. Opening wide. The title slams across the screen in crashing waves. Zombies 5, 2026. Mermaids' last voice, sharp and cold, whispers.